Today, we're going to be taking a look at the different ways in which you can use the Inserts feature on the iD24 or iD44 audio interfaces. Today, we'll be using an iD24 audio interface. So what are inserts and how do they help? Well, inserts were a staple of old school analog audio, before the days of plugins, where all of your effects were physical pieces of equipment that needed to be inserted into your signal chain. Of course, outboard equipment such as compressors, EQ, reverbs, and delays are still very popular today, and are a great way of giving a little bit of extra character to your recordings. So having access to inserts on your audio interface can be a great way to integrate these analog pieces of gear into your signal chain. Both the inputs on iD24 have a send and return 1/4-inch jack connection, which can be used in a few different ways to integrate outboard gear into your sessions. The send and return, as the name suggests, will send audio out and return audio back in. This happens after the iD24 preamps, but before the converters, so it's all done in the analog domain without degrading your signal and while keeping the benefits of using the Audient console mic preamps. The first way of using the inserts is to commit effects as you're recording, such as committing some EQ or maybe the first stage of compression for a vocal, for example. Here we will connect a microphone to the iD24 mic preamp as normal, then use a TRS cable in the send connector to send the signal to the outboard gear's input. Then we take another TRS cable from the output of the outboard gear and bring it back into the return connector for that channel. This is then sent to the converters and then into the DAW. So this setup will fully commit the effects to your recordings and cannot be undone, so make sure that you're 100% happy with the effects you're putting on. If you want to give yourself some options and you're only recording with one mic, then you could always bring the output of your outboard gear into the return on the unused channel. This would give you a clean recording on input 1 and a recording with effects on input 2, for example. If you want to wait until the mixing process to start adding analog effects, you can make use of the line outputs to send audio to your outboard gear before bringing it back into the returns and recording it. This takes a little bit more setup with internal routing, however is well worth the results. So in this example, we're going to be using a stereo reverb, but you can do it with mono effects too. So first we connect TRS cables between the line outputs 3 and 4 and the reverb unit. Then we connect the output of the reverb unit into the returns, making sure to get the channels the right way around. Now for routing it from the DAW, first we go into the iD software mixer and open up the system panel. Now on analog outputs 3 and 4, we set it to DAW through. This means that anything that's sent out of outputs 3 and 4 in a DAW will be sent to physical outputs 3 and 4 without being affected by the volume knob. It'll just constantly be sent out independently. Now in the DAW, anything that we send to outputs 3 and 4 will be sent to the reverb unit. For this example, we've set up an auxiliary track with a few channels being sent to it. To listen to the audio from the outboard gear, we have a few options. We can either monitor directly from the interface by turning up the first 2 faders in the iD software mixer where the returns are coming in, or alternatively, we can listen directly from the DAW by creating a stereo channel with inputs 1 and 2 as the channel inputs, and ensure that software monitoring is also turned on. To record the processed audio, just record enable the new stereo channel and record the track from the beginning. Another useful feature of having dedicated send and return connections is bypassing the built-in Audient preamps and sending audio straight to the converters. While the Audient console preamps are very transparent in nature, they still technically have a sound, so using the returns is useful if you have some boutique analog preamps or some other equipment that you want to record, but you don't want to send through the built-in preamps, which could still technically alter the sound. Bypassing the preamps is as simple as plugging in the outboard gear straight into the return connectors using a TRS cable. It is worth noting that in this scenario, the gain knob of that input will do absolutely nothing, as this controls the Audient mic pre. So to set your levels, you will need to use the controls on your external gear and keep an eye on the levels in the iD software mixer or in your DAW. When using inserts, it's really important to ensure that your gain staging is done well. So ensuring that at each point your gain is at a healthy level going in and out of each piece of equipment. Although saying this, using inserts does allow you to do some fun things like cranking up the built-in preamps so they give you some gritty analog distortion before backing down the levels on a piece of outboard gear before it hits your converters, giving you the benefits of analog saturation and character without the awful digital clipping. So get creative with it and have some fun. If you found this video useful, then please give it a like. And if you have any questions about the inserts or iD interfaces in general, then please leave a comment or get in touch. And don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials and video content.